Welcome to the dojo. Today, we're not just talking about coding. We're talking about transforming you from a mere programmer into a true professional, using the teachings of the one and only Robert C. Martin from The Clean Coder. So, let's start with a really important question. You gotta ask yourself this before we even dive in. Are you just here to write code, or are you actually building a career? Think about it, because your answer to that, well, it changes everything.
Okay, so look, in our world, there are basically two paths you can take. On one side, you've got the programmer. This person, they follow the specs, they do what they're told, they focus on their tickets. And then you've got the professional. This person, they get the business, they advise, they guide, and most importantly, they take ownership. See the difference? One is a task taker, the other is a stakeholder.
All right, let's get into your first lesson. This is a fundamental shift in how you think. Seriously, professionalism isn't really about your fancy coding skills. It's all about ownership.
Uncle Bob puts it perfectly. Professionalism is all about taking responsibility. And look, this isn't about being perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's about being responsible for your imperfections. If a bug you wrote costs the company money, guess what? That's on you. You break it, you own it, and you damn well fix it.
Think of it like a doctor's oath, First, do no harm. And for us, that means two things. First, no harm to function. Your goal should be that QA finds nothing. Zip, nada. Shipping bugs is a failure on your part. And second, no harm to structure. Rushing a feature and leaving a mess in the code, that's not being a hero, that's sabotage. You're basically taking out a high-interest loan on the future of the project. And that's just a fool's errand.
Okay, buckle up. Now we get to what might be the hardest but also the most critical lesson of all, the art of the counterattack. I'm talking about the power of saying no.
Oh, you know this scene. We've all been there, right? The pressure is on, the deadline is just insane, and your manager comes to you with a request that seems, well, impossible. The stakes are high, and everyone's looking at you.
And what's your first instinct? To say, yes, of course it is. You want to be a team player. You want to look good. You want to be the hero who saves the day. So you say something like, yeah, I'll try.
Wrong. That is the worst thing you can do. Saying yes to something you know is impossible isn't being a team player. It's a lie, a flat-out lie. A true professional knows that this gives everyone false hope and it actively harms the very project you're paid to protect. It is profoundly unprofessional.
Uncle Bob even quotes Yoda here. Do or do not. There is no trying. You are not paid to try. You are paid to do. And part of doing your job is defending your professional estimates. Your manager needs you to push back, to give them the real data so they can make smart business decisions. Saying no isn't being difficult, it's being responsible.
All right, so having the right mindset is one thing, but it's totally useless if you don't have the discipline to back it up. So let's talk about your daily katas. These are the practices that are going to forge you into a master.
First up, the Boy Scout rule. It's so simple, yet so powerful. Always leave the code cleaner than you found it. Every time you touch a file, make one little improvement. Rename a variable, extract a function, whatever. This isn't about massive refactors. It's about constant, merciless, timey improvements that prevent the code from rotting over time.
Okay, so how can you be merciless with refactoring without being terrified of breaking everything? Well, you need a safety net. And that's where test-driven development, or TDD, comes in. This is the discipline that gives you the courage, the absolute confidence to constantly make your code better.
And TDD is governed by three simple laws. First, you write a failing test before you write a single line of production code. Second, you only write enough of that test to see it fail. And third, you write just enough production code to make that specific test pass. That's it. It's a super tight 30-second cycle. Red, green, refactor. You're not just testing later, you're literally designing your system one tiny, verifiable step at a time.
And if you think this is just some academic ivory tower idea, look at this. The data doesn't lie. We're talking about studies from huge companies like IBM and Microsoft. Adopting TDD leads to a massive reduction in defects. We're talking 2 to 10 times fewer bugs. Come on, what kind of professional would see numbers like that and just ignore them? This is how you live up to that vow of do no harm.
So that brings us back to where we started. But now you see the path. You understand what it actually takes to be a professional. And here's the thing. It's not a job title someone gives you. It's a standard you hold yourself to every single day.
The choice is yours, and you make it with every single line of code you write, with every meeting you're in.
Are you just going to be a code monkey who does what they're told? Or are you going to be a professional who takes ownership and advises the business?
The training never ends. Keep honing your skills. Subscribe to Lazy Reader to earn your black belt.